Now, for those of you who may just have joined us, we'd like again to look at the board and to do the popular vote. We now, for the first time, have a V, as we say, in front of John Fitzgerald Kennedy's name on the election board here. We are here in NBC election headquarters, Merrill Muller, myself, John Chancellor, waiting for President-elect Kennedy to go to the Hyannisport Armory and make a speech. We've been waiting now for about an hour, actually, an hour and 15 minutes since we first thought he would make this speech. We're told that the motors in his motorcade are revved up, that the people are waiting outside for the President-elect to appear and go there. In the meanwhile, Merrill Muller and I will try and find something interesting to say.
Have we been told where this motorcade is headed? Is this headed toward that big hall that Ray Scherer was telling us about?
That's right. The cameras and Ray Scherer are in the Armory downtown, and the house, I think it's about 5 miles away from the Armory. There are no facilities at the house for keeping people there. Now, Merrill, I believe what we've been waiting for is about to come true. You can see on your screen there the motorcade we've been discussing. Motorcade. The motorcade that will take President-elect. There it goes. There are the photographers in the car. There are some of the reporters, policemen, Secret Service men.
There's the white Lincoln right there.
There's the white Lincoln just behind the tree. There he is. There he is, the next president of the United States. He always sits in the front seat, and incidentally, so does Mr. Khrushchev. These people find that you can wave more easily from that point. That's Pierre Salinger in the car that just went by, the press secretary who has dogged Mr. Kennedy for this entire campaign. All closed cars, modest. They might be on their way to the supermarket, really, in that town.
It's quite a shopping spree.
It's quite a shopping spree. They've been shopping for all these days. And that, I believe, in the background there, that little strip of water you see, is Nantucket Sound. And now we're going to our reporter on the scene in Hyannisport, Massachusetts.
Here's President-elect Kennedy now, coming up to the Armory. Senator Kennedy sitting in the front seat, being helped out by Secret Service. Senator waiting until there's his wife, Jackie Kennedy. The president-elect is shaking hands with the crowd. Photographers yelling from the roof to get a picture. Senator Kennedy, his wife, and mother go into the Armory for his victory speech.
Here inside the Armory, the once very junior senator from Massachusetts, now at the age of 43, the president-elect of the United States, and his wife Jacqueline go strolling down the aisle, heading for the rostrum while he receives one of the rarest of tributes, a standing ovation from newsmen. A very, very unusual thing indeed. It should be noted, too, that there are local enthusiasts from Hyannis who have somehow made their way into this Armory, and they are contributing mightily to the applause. Kennedy, with his typical amazing physical ability to bounce back, looks rested. His eyes are a trifle bloodshot, but aside from that, you'd never guess that he'd been through a grueling campaign and had been up most of the night following the election returns. We believe we're going to get a brief formal statement and then possibly answers to questions. The president-elect
of the United States.
She's all right. She's all right, right here. Ladies and gentlemen,
I will ask.
ladies and gentlemen, I've received the following wire from Vice President Nixon. In that wire he says, Senator John F. Kennedy, Hyannisport, Massachusetts, I want to repeat through this wire the congratulations and best wishes I extended to you on television last night. I know that you will have the united support of all Americans as you lead the nation in the cause of peace and freedom during the next 4 years. In reply to the Vice President, I sent him the following wire. Vice President Nixon, Los Angeles, California. Your sincere good wishes are gratefully accepted. You are to be congratulated on a fine race. I know that the nation can continue to count on your unswerving loyalty in whatever effort you undertake, and that you and I can maintain our long-standing cordial relations in the years ahead. Sincerely, John Kennedy. I received also a wire from President Eisenhower, which says, my congratulations to you for the victory you have just won at the polls. I will be sending you promptly a more comprehensive telegram suggesting certain measures that may commend themselves to you as you prepare to take over next January the responsibilities of the presidency, signed Dwight D. Eisenhower. And I have sent to President Eisenhower the following wire. I am grateful for your wire and good wishes. I look forward to working with you in the near future. The whole country is hopeful that your long experience in the service of your country can be drawn upon further in the years to come. With every good wish, signed, John Kennedy.
Wait, I guess we have one more statement.
May I say, in addition to all citizens of this country, Democrats, Independents, Republicans, regardless of how they may have voted, that it is a satisfying moment to me, and I want to express my appreciation to all of them and to Mr. Nixon personally. I particularly want to thank all those who worked so long and so hard in this campaign on our behalf and who were generous to me in my visits throughout the country and who were generous enough to support me in the election on yesterday. To all Americans, I say that the next 4 years are going to be difficult and challenging years for us all. The election may have been a close one, but I think that there is general agreement by all of our citizens that a supreme national effort will be needed in the years ahead to move this country safely through the 1960s. I ask your help in this effort, and I can assure you that every degree of mind and spirit that I possess will be devoted to the long-range interests of the United States and to the cause of freedom around the world. So now my wife and I prepare for a new administration and for a new baby. Thank you.
For the first time in this reporter's knowledge, in the months and months that I've covered him, I noticed for the first time some real emotion in the president-elect. A glint of tears in his eyes, and his voice cracked once or twice. The president-elect is surrounded by many members of his family, his sisters Eunice and Pat and Jean, his brother Robert Kennedy, who is also his campaign manager.
Robert Kennedy on the far left. And, of course, Father Joseph Kennedy, the one-time ambassador to the court of St. James. Next to him was Teddy, the youngest of the Kennedy boys, right there in the center of your screen. He's 28 years old and was the senator's far western campaign manager. And after that is the mother, Rose Kennedy. And then the rest of the Kennedy girls, Pat Lawford, and Robert's wife, Ethel. And now the president-elect is making his way from the stage. So for John Fitzgerald Kennedy, the long campaign comes to an end, and a successful one for him, despite the fact that the popular vote was a very, very narrow affair. Actually, Senator Kennedy decided to make the supreme bid for the nation's highest office for his party's nomination just a few weeks after he failed by a whisker to get his party's vice presidential nomination in 1956. What followed was almost 4 years of continuous campaigning, crisscrossing the nation, going from state to state, talking to delegates, going back time and again to make sure that these delegates stayed with him. The rest of the story, of course, is history. His first ballot nomination in Los Angeles in July. And then since then, the slam bang campaign against Vice President Nixon, which ended about an hour ago when the Vice President publicly and formally conceded defeat. As he heads back to the compound, can look forward to at least 2 or 3 days of complete rest, complete relaxation. For Kennedy, it's been non-stop now for 7 months, first through the grueling primaries, then the convention, then the campaign itself. And at the end of the row, at the rainbow, was that pot of gold for him, which was the White House.